Shalom, all praises going honor to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who rule well through the scriptures. Honorable mention to the brothers prophesying the truth, sincerity, diligence. Peace to the hopeful elect. All right, on screen it say a message for Hebrew Israelites. Now, when I first saw this video, the Hebrew Israelite message is all across the world. It's going out, it's being pushed. The YouTube. You can't go on YouTube without seeing something about a Hebrew Israelite. So with that, you have the critics, or you have the people that talk down and talk bad. And I thought that's what this video was, but in fact, it's about this guy saying he is a Hebrew Israelite, etc. So I watched it or whatever, because a lot of people say they call us black Hebrew Israelites when we're not black Hebrew Israelites. Black is a legal term. Black is a color. Okay, black. The meaning of black means got so much negative things around. We're not black Hebrew Israelites. That's what our oppressors called us, black. We are Hebrew Israelites. We are the people of the Bible. That's our ethnicity. That's our nationality. Then that's where we come from. All right. So that's who we are. So and because your nationality is determined by the seed of your father. And if your father have sex with women of other nationalities, and that happens through a process of time, the children can look different. It can look white. So we don't teach that black Hebrew Israelite thing, because according to this Numbers 1:18, it says, and they assembled all the congregation together, talking about the Israelites. This is how Hebrew Israelites, this is how the Lord taught us to determine our nationality. All right. We don't do it by the mother. We don't do it by what our oppressors said. All right. It says, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigree. So how do you declare your pedigree? I'm just going to jump straight to the Strong's definition. What is a pedigree? It's specifically to show lineage. So your lineage, what line did you come from? That's why when you read the Bible, it says, and Abraham begat Isaac. Isaac begat Jacob. It don't say Abraham and Sarah begat Isaac. It don't say Isaac and Rebekah begat Jacob. Because the seed line, the lineage is declared. How? Let's keep reading. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. So that's how it's declared, by the house of your father. That's why you got Israelites that look like other nations. So looking at this guy straight up, I can't just looking at this screen here. You can't just make that that declaration. Oh, this guy in the Israelite here, Edomite, and the Edomites are so-called white people, because the Romans 8:16 it says, for their spirit bear witness with our spirit that we are the sons of the living power. Because the children of the Most High, we got a particular spirit, that's separate from the rest of the world, man. The scriptures speak about matter of fact, let me see if I can get it. Give you an example. Give you an example in Exodus real quick. Why am I saying 2 and 11? It ain't 2 and 11. This is Exodus 1:19. It says, and the midwife said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. So it was saying like it's a difference between the Hebrew women, and they was talking about the Hebrew Israelite women, because sometimes when you see the word Hebrew, it means a designation of the patriarchs and the Israelites. So sometimes it'll say Hebrew, but it's talking about the Israelites. All right. But the Hebrew women are not the Egyptian women. Why? They too dark-skinned people. Because the Israelites, we range from dark to light on the color scale. And the Egyptians historically are dark-skinned. So regardless of the color, what? They're different because they are lively. Lively means what? Vigorous. Having the vigor of life. So their spirit is, the Israelites have a more pronounced spirit than the average other nation. It's just something about them. It's just more. It's more more accented, is more pronounced, is more profound, regardless of anything that you're doing, whether you're just walking or whether you speak and having a conversation. People like to call us so-called black people animated. Oh, y'all animated. Hey, what did it say? What's the synonym for animated? Vigorous, lively. All right. So I'm gonna click on it and we're gonna hear some of the things that this guy said. That's what I want to do the lesson on. Matter of fact, let me go back a little bit.
That young church, which I'm still the pastor of, but I don't personally remember services very much anymore. He started coming to church, and he brought his coworker, who was not a Hebrew Israelite, and his coworker brought his wife, who was not a Hebrew Israelite, and in 3 weeks, the Most High grabbed them, and they became Hebrew Israelites. Well, the couple moved within just a 15-minute.
Yeah, see, all right, that's the thing now. You cannot become an Hebrew Israelite, all right? This is not like it's your nationality, it's a heritage. You can't, if I cannot become Chinese. Okay? I cannot change my lineage to that of another. Because that's what this Hebrew Israelite, this is our lineage. But with our lineage, with our heritage comes customs, practices, different behaviors that was designated to us by the Most High Heavenly Father. Now, the term for it, there's a term for it. It's called ethno-religious. Technically, the Hebrew Israelites would be what you call an ethno-religious group. I'll read it. It says an ethno-religious group is an ethnic group whose members are also unified by a common religious background. So the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, we unified from what? We the seed of Israel. That's our ethnicity. And our laws and statutes and customs that the Most High gave us. It says ethno-religious communities define their ethnic identity neither by ancestral heritage nor simply by religious affiliation, but often through a combination of both. And the Hebrew Israelite, our identity is both that we're Israelites, we're the seed of Israel, and the Most High God is our power. That's part of it. All right, I'm gonna read that part again. It says, ethno-religious communities define their ethnic identity neither by ancestral heritage nor simply by religious affiliation, but often through a combination of both. And that's what we are, is both. Being a Hebrew Israelite, that comes with serving the Most High comes with the territory. All right, like I get you a scripture. This is you can't become something that you're not. This is Romans 9:3. I'll start at 3. It says, "For I could wish that myself were accursed from Mashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. These my brothers according to the flesh. We share a common ancestor." Verse 4 says what? Who are Israelites? So my brother, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption. So all these people talk the adoption. Well, the adoption pertaineth to who? Israelites. All right? The word pertain means belongs. So the adoption belongs to the Israelites. All right? So when the thing is, only a Hebrew Israelite can become a Hebrew Israelite. And I'm going to explain what I mean. It says, who are Israelites to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises. So serving the Lord comes with the territory of being a Hebrew Israelite. That comes with the territory. We're an ethno-religious group. In the white man's terminology, the so-called white man's, all right, and it ain't got nothing to, and we ain't have a choice over the matter. It says Salakia. I'm gonna go to Deuteronomy 7:6. It says For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for ye were the fewest of all people. But because Yahweh loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he has sworn unto your fathers, have the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen from the hand of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. So the Lord, he just did it. He chose. He chose us. He chose Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He chose all the promises to rest on the seed of Jacob. We had no choice in the matter, and he said it. We just read it. And hey, we just read Romans 9. The service of God, we got to serve the Lord. It comes with it. All right. So let's Deuteronomy chapter 4. Verse 5, it says, Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahweh my power hath commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. So the Lord separated us, man, and he separated us with the service of him. All right, these particular people, I'm going to give them my ways, and they going to live their life serving me, and they going to be above all people. Hey, the Lord decided all those things. You can't become a Hebrew Israelite. You can't become Chinese. African can't become Asian. All right, this is Jeremiah. And then I said only a Hebrew Israelite can become a Hebrew Israelite. And I'm going to explain, I'll get some scriptures to explain what I mean. It says, this Jeremiah, I know it's the last verse. Or I believe it's the last verse of whatever chapter I'm looking for. Salakia. Let me see. Let me bear with me for a second, Baba Kushai. Oh, it's Jeremiah. Okay, Khan. This is Jeremiah chapter 9. It's the last verse. Verse 26, it says, Egypt and Judah and Edom and the children of Ammon and Moab and all that are in the utmost corners that dwell in the wilderness. For all these nations are uncircumcised, and all the house of Israel are uncircumcised in heart. So when we uncircumcised in heart, then we're not a Hebrew Israelite. Because what does it say? It said a Jew is a Jew that's inwardly. Let me phrase that over. It's inwardly. So what does that mean? That means you're living as the Lord commanded us to live. All right, that's what it meant. Romans 2:29. I'll start a verse up. Romans 2:28. For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly. Oh yeah, I'm the seed of Abraham. I'm the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Yeah, I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Yeah. It says, neither is that circumcision, which is outward in the flesh. Yeah, I was circumcised the 8th day. Yeah, I keep the law. You know? But it says, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of the Most High. So let's see what they got for inwardly. In the Greek. So basically within you, all right, you a Hebrew Israelite on the inside. You got basically you got integrity, all right. You not just talking the talk, but you walking the walk. So only a Hebrew Israelite can become a Hebrew Israelite. They're a Hebrew Israelite, but then they have to come to the realization that they're a Hebrew Israelite, and I'm gonna get the scripture for that. Because the scriptures talks about us being in a deep sleep. All right, this is Isaiah 52:1. It says, awake, awake. See, we was in a deep sleep. That's how scripture says, wake up, realize who you are through slavery. All right, they beat the language out of us. Our language, we spoke Hebrew. They separated families. All right, different plantations, moved them away. All right, they turned us against each other. Willie Lynch letter, they had us down to a science, man. We was really destroyed. They did it to our Native American brothers too. All the different tribes, the Latino got them in boarding schools, separate, all type of stuff, man. It says, awake, awake, put on thy strength, on Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. So we have to, our beautiful garments is what? This truth, is this knowledge. See? It's the knowledge that the Lord gave us. This is our covering. All right? So when we come to that realization, we live as Hebrew Israelites inwardly, like we just read in Romans. So dealing with the garments being, it says, put on thy beautiful garments, put on this truth, because the New Testament, Yahweh Shah says, he coming to the wedding, he going to say, friend, where's thy garment? All right. It says, Isaiah 30:1, it says, woe to the rebellious children, said Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin unto sin. So what's a cover? Let me see what they got for covering. Woven stuff. Fusion of metal. A coverlet. Something that covers. So a garment is something that covers you. It's something that clothes you. So we supposed to be girt, clothed with righteousness, man. I believe it's a scripture that speaks about that. Clothed with righteousness. Let me see if I get that. Or girt with righteousness. Oh, well, I'll read. This is Job 29:14. It says, I put on righteousness and it clothed me. My judgment was as a robe and a diadem. So that's the beautiful, put on thy beautiful garment. That back to that Deuteronomy 4. I've taught you statutes and judgments. Keep therefore and do them. And the scripture said, this is our life too. It's scriptures that say that. Baruch 4:1 in the Apocrypha, it say, this is the law that endure forever. All that keep it shall come to life. And all that put it away, gonna die. Basically, you know. But it says 29:14, it says, I put on righteousness and it clothed me. My judgment was as a robe and a diadem. Psalm 132:9, it says, let thy priests be clothed with righteousness, and let thy saints shout for joy. And I'll read Isaiah 61:10. It says, I will greatly rejoice in the Lord, in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. My soul shall be joyful in my power. For he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness, as a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. So basically that's the point, you know, only, explaining what I mean when only a Hebrew Israelite can become a Hebrew Israelite, you know, because right now, a lot of Hebrew Israelites believe they're Mexican. A lot of Hebrew Israelites believe they're Puerto Rican. They believe they're African American. And as long as they're asleep in the dark and not knowing who their power is and not knowing who they are, well, then they not a Hebrew Israelite. Inwardly, okay, they just a lost soul. You know, with that, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson to the hopeful elect. Shalom.